Nora, please, over to you.
Okay.
Okay, great. Yes. So yeah, my name's Nura, and I'm just gonna chat with you all about how I navigated the job market and found my first tech job. This is also like conversational, so if you have questions, like feel free to, go ahead and like you can unmute yourself or raise your hand, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. But like, I'm here to answer questions. And so I'm here to show some of my tips, but also like, this is just my experience. So whatever works for you also works as well. I'm just sharing some of the things that I thought was useful during my job search. And then at the end, we'll do some Heroku fun. I'll show you. So yeah, who am I? I am half Palestinian. I grew up in the US. I grew up in Texas. Yep. And so my dad's Palestinian from Nablus, and then my mom's Scottish American. And then I like to say I'm Celtic Arab. So anyway, so I'm currently living in Amsterdam. And I'm a software engineer at Heroku, which is owned by Salesforce. And I've been at Heroku for about 4 years now, like exactly 4 years. So, and then, yeah, so I'm also a bootcamp grad. So I graduated from my bootcamp. Actually, this is great. So we'll go to the next one. I graduated from my bootcamp in 2017. And so my career took lots of different directions. I originally was studying like a liberal arts degree in college, and I worked for a bunch of different nonprofits. And then I decided that, oh wow, like the tech industry seems great. It has unlimited PTO, like, and a lot of great benefits and a lot of great pay that, and I was already like learning a little bit how to code at my job. I was doing their newsletters, their landing pages for the nonprofit I was working at. Anyway, I started taking more and more classes to see if I was interested. And then I went and I went to Hackbright Academy, and was my boot camp. And then I job searched for 6 whole months until I landed my very first role in 2018. And that was a hybrid role. So it was, I was looking for software engineering roles, but I finally got lucky and I got my foot in the door as a data services engineer. So I was wrangling customers' data and helping customers like implement custom solutions, and then also doing like cool Python stuff in Jupyter notebooks. It was really fun. So then I basically convinced them to put me on the engineering team by hanging out with all the engineers, and then they also had an opening. So hopped onto the engineering team as like a very junior associate engineer. And then that started my whole career. So then I worked there for a while, and then I quit my job right before the pandemic and then didn't work for a whole year. And then luckily found my job at Heroku using my network, actually. So that's my whole path. Yeah, what else I wanted to add here? Okay. All right, so I wanted to like narrow in on the actual job search part. And I wanted to really talk about the part where I came out of the coding boot camp and I got my first role. And this was like a really interesting time because I didn't have any computer science experience. And so I'm just going to share some tips generally about how I spent that 6 months. Like in the beginning, I was really focused on interviewing practice. So I did a lot of algorithm problems, and I think I was going crazy. And I decided to like, after 3 months of that, and also like failing a lot of interviews, I decided to like retweak my approach. And I think that this is like how what worked for me. And again, it's very different for everyone. But I found that if I really spent most of my job searching time on project work, and that's just like doing little projects that were interesting to me. Like I wanted to learn React, so I built a little um, project that was like an Animal Crossing calendar. That was you could click on it and it would show you little Animal Crossing events, but built in React. And all sorts of other tiny little projects. I rebuilt my school project, but in a different language in Ruby. Um, so I felt like that was really helpful because it gave me experience, and the experience was helpful to talk about in the interviews and then also prepare because not every interview is the same. Every company has very different interviewing styles. And so I felt like I just would get an interview and then I would hone in on what that company wanted and practice my interviewing skills then. And generally, I would just practice like how I would say things to the interviewer, how I would repeat back the problem, all that stuff. And then the second part of it was like networking. That was a huge, okay, that was a huge chunk of my time job searching. And so that's what I'm going to talk about more is like how I networked and how I got really specific with my networking. But the other stuff is with marketing yourself, that's just like writing Medium posts, blogs about things you're learning, or like maybe even making like a LinkedIn post, just so that you're more just putting yourself in front of people and being like, hey, I'm doing stuff. But yeah, so that's just wanted to share that. So now we're getting closer to like how to like build your network. And so before you even start to build your network, you kind of want to like reflect on you and like figure out what your story is. And so what you're looking at currently is this is my resume that I use getting out of Hackbright, the landing my first job. So I had no, computer science experience. So I just played on my strengths of like from my previous jobs. So like for example, because I have no computer science experience, the very top is like the skills that I learned, the project that I worked on. And if I had cooler projects, I would have added it, but I also wanted to show my job experience. Anyway, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of like the resume that I used, but also like really highlighting like, even though I wasn't coding, I did do a few little bits of code at my previous job. So I made sure to highlight that there. I also did some like data research. So I made sure to highlight that there. Anything that I could pull from my previous role, I made sure to like show that I actually do have some experience and that it can translate over to my new role, and even highlight other things that they don't even realize they're looking for. Okay, so my biggest advice is that, and again, everyone's different, but I would just completely stop cold applying. Like I gave up on it. And when I say cold applying, I mean like filling out like those long web forms, and like putting in your resume and writing a cover letter and filling out like they ask you for so much information. It's the same information. And it's just like a huge time sink, and it's really, really, really hard to beat um, the algorithm. Like I feel like they're just machines that are just going through each resume and pulling your resume based on certain code words that they're looking for. And it's just no personal touch. You're not able to actually like get in front of someone and like introduce yourself, and they don't get to see like you and your story and your experience. And like So yeah, and I just felt like I just didn't get a lot of success from applying for jobs. It felt good. Like it felt good, like, oh, I applied for like 10 jobs today, but I just didn't really get a lot of interviews and I didn't get a lot of feedback. And so what I found that really worked for me was doing what like LinkedIn cold calling, or I like to call it LinkedIn fishing. So basically, like, you reach out to somebody that you've never known, like you don't know, they're strangers, and you just like try to get on their calendar in some way, shape, or form. I know that it's like really, really scary, but I found the most success reaching out to people I didn't know but had a few like similarities with. And this like helped me grow my network tremendously, especially if you're like not wanting to go to events, which events are hard. You know, it's hard to like meet people and click with them on LinkedIn and exchange information. This you could do in the comfort of your home. Find people and write to them. So this is like a little example of what I would write to someone that I had no idea who they were. So, and yeah, and also like, yeah, if you have any questions, like, yeah. But so yeah, we're gonna go through the whole motions of it. And I'm sure you've seen LinkedIn connections before, but I just wanted to go through it with you, and give you an idea of how I would use it. So let's go to LinkedIn. Do, do, do. Oh, okay. So here we are. So we go to like my network, and we'll just go through the whole thing. So my network, and then click connections. And then you're going to go to search with filters. And then you click all filters. And so let's think, for example, I want to get a job at Duolingo. I really love that cute owl. So I'm just like, I just really want a job there. Also, I don't see the chat. Let me just like look. Oh yeah, I'm an introvert. Feels like a nightmare. It is scary. But you know what's really great? So like, I want to just want to say like, I would send like 10 messages out, and I would maybe get 2 replies out of those 10. Um, and so like, but most of the time people are just going to ignore you. They're not going to be mean. And then the people who do reply are extremely nice because one, they're on LinkedIn, they're actually reading their messages, and they're going out of their way to like reply to you because they really want to help. They know like what this is about, and so they're like, oh yeah, I really want to help this person. So they're probably the nicest people. Um, just to maybe remove a little bit of the fear. But it is very scary. I was terrified the first couple of messages I sent out, but then you just start to get the hang of it. So yeah, so here we go. I want to just start looking for people. I want to go fishing today. I want to catch a fish. So I'm gonna search like Duolingo, and I'm gonna search for. Oh wait, not current company actually. Actually, current company. Actually, it's more successful if you go um, past company because then there's more people. So okay. Oh, remove all filters maybe. I practiced this earlier. Okay, great. So we'll do current company. So these are all the people who are working at Duolingo. And the very first thing that I want to look at is, do I have connections with them? can I reach out to any of these people and say like, hey, do you know so and so? Like, could you introduce me? That would probably like be the best way, because they probably know even more people who work there. They can give you, maybe they can give you an idea of what the company is like. Um, so I'm gonna just like look through here. And then another thing that I look for is like location. Like, is anyone, in my location? Does anyone work where, I work? And I can actually meet up with them in person and have like a coffee with them. But yeah, so, you just like click through and see if you connect with anyone. Like, this person looks nice. Um, yeah, I was trying to think of like if there's anything we have in common else. But if we don't, that's okay too. I can just go in and say, hey, like I'm interested in learning about Duolingo. Could you, do you have time to talk about your career journey, getting to Duolingo? So stuff like that. The other thing is, I really like the jobs tab. So if you go to like jobs, it's to the top tab here, but basically here you can look and see like what are the jobs that have been posted in the past 24 hours. And again, resist the urge to, oh wait, what did you say? Premium user? No, I don't pay for LinkedIn. It says try premium here. So this is all for free. And you can send messages for free. Some people have it turned off where you have to pay to send them a message, so just ignore them. And but yeah, so then but yeah, try to resist the urge to just cold apply. Even these easy applies, I didn't get a lot of success with those, but they are really easy. But anyway, so like try to just look and see like, okay, so these companies are hiring. They're currently hiring to the point that they just posted a job. And so I would look again, like who works here? Who's my connections here? And click in and see from there, like how I can get in front of somebody. Oh, when you search people and you use filtering options. Huh. I don't know. Like, I don't pay for LinkedIn. I've never paid for LinkedIn. But yeah, so okay. What was this one? Okay, so this is also my profile, just to give you an idea, just to throw out a few things. I have like a photo of me like giving a talk, which just like shows that I've like given a talk. I have my projects front and center here. I even have like a YouTube video of me explaining my project, which I found helpful. Yeah, I always keep these updated. If I change something on my resume, I change it on my LinkedIn, except I haven't updated my current thing. But yeah, and then I put all my projects here, and I try to fill it up with like as much as I can so that people feel like they can connect with me in some way. And then yeah, also it's really great to have like recommendations, but I feel like you already know all that stuff, but just wanted to talk about having the profile. Also, having a story, like a clear story, is also great. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the presentation. Okay, and then I have lost the chat again, but it's okay. All right, so here, back to this. So just to go back over like what we looked at, which is that when you're querying LinkedIn, you are searching your network and jobs targeting certain companies. I feel like that was really helpful for me to just like look at companies that match my values. Like, what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for unlimited PTO. I'm looking for work-life balance. I'm looking for opportunities for me to learn and grow at this company. And like get a vibe. And if you feel like, okay, yeah, this is like where I want to work, then start targeting people who work there. Not everyone, just like one person. But so here is even more examples of like me just like saying a little bit about myself and then like saying like, hey, like I just moved and I'd love to connect with you. Like, and then the one on the right is actually how I got my first job, which is funny because I said I applied for the role, which I usually would not recommend, but um, this actually worked out fine. And he met with me and then he gave me a referral, which usually doesn't work like that. So that was just really lucky. Um, okay. So yeah, more things that I love about different messages is that like the top one was someone who wrote to me, which I thought was really nice. One, I like it because they picked details from my profile. So it showed they had like a genuine interest in getting to know me. Because it's like, it's a big deal to give a referral to people, especially people you don't know. So I say like, I like to give a referral to people like that I've had at least have like a conversation with. Um, and so yeah, and then the bottom one is like a great example of like, yeah, again, I applied for a position and I wrote to them. So, which I guess is fine to do. The things that I would avoid though is like talking exactly about the like interview process. Like you could probably say I applied for the job, but I would not talk about like what's the interview process like. I would not ask for a referral right away. But it is good to be bold and ask for the referral eventually. And then asking if they're hiring, I wouldn't go in with that first. Again, I would have that conversation first and build up a relationship and then ask if they're hiring. And then also I'd avoid like not introducing yourself and like talking a little bit about yourself and like give a little elevator pitch of like who you are. Um, Also, I'm just gonna I have lost the chat and I just want to make sure I get it back. I don't use Zoom a lot, so um, but is it here? You know what? I don't know. I don't know where it is. But if you're asking things, you can unmute and tell me things. Okay, so we are moving away. Oh, wait, I see it. I see the chat. It popped up again. Okay, great. It like I see now that it pops up from the top of the screen. Anyway, so we're moving away from LinkedIn and job searching. So if you do have any more questions on that, now would be the time because otherwise I was going to switch gears and talk a little bit about Heroku and how I think it's like a great tool for people who are like starting out in their careers. So I'm just gonna like pause for like a second.
So حد عنده سؤال على الجوب انترفيو سوري على اللينكدين or anything نورا شرحته حاليا even in Arabic so we can translate it to English if anyone like don't feel comfortable انه ما تحسون متمكنين من اللغة الإنجليزية فاحكوا عربي وممكن نسألها بالإنجليزي من يمنا.
Thank you, Shukran.
One.
Oh, okay. As a student, I'm not actively looking for a job. What could I do to improve My LinkedIn. Great question. The first thing is coming up with like your story that you are going to tell people. Like whenever people ask you in an interview, like, tell me about yourself. Um, I would have that story ready to go on my LinkedIn about me. Also, like adding your experience and making sure that your experience is tailored to the type of job that you're looking for. And then also, while you're a student, you should post about the things you're learning so that it looks like you are active. It looks like it's also a great, like, easy portfolio to showcase your skills. Um, yeah. And then also any projects. Like, I would start to like really make your README for your projects if it's on GitHub or if you have a portfolio website. Really like start to make your projects look really pretty and presentable so that people can easily understand what you worked on and how it works and what are your data models and um, things like that. Um, or you could even record yourself talking about it as well, and then they can actually see you and see what your communication skills are like. So basically, like working on your marketing, and then also like you can talk to people. You can still reach out to people and ask them about their jobs. And actually, people would love it if a student is talking to them. That's actually really great. So like just say like, hey, I'm learning and I see that you also do similar things to what I do or what I want to do. I'd love to chat with you just for like 30 minutes. You know, can I get time on your calendar? Stuff like that. Um,
Yeah. Rafal, Rafal Asadi, do you have any question?
Yes. Hi, Nura. Hello, Ibrahim.
Hi, hello, Rafal.
Nura, my question is, through my experience, I find it I found it very difficult to find a job through LinkedIn. Most of the interviews I landed was through job websites where you see a lot of jobs listed. So is it better to focus my attention to find a job through LinkedIn or focus on like finding job websites and applying through them?
well, I think I like what you um, like. I'm assuming the job website is the company's job postings, like their page.
There are certain websites where multiple companies post, like you can filter what job you're searching for. You can filter the
Oh, I see. Okay.
governorate you. So finding a job like this was a lot easier through LinkedIn because through LinkedIn it seems like very far-fetched to reach the hiring manager or something.
Okay, yeah.
Mm.
I think for me, my goal of using LinkedIn is not to apply for the job. My
Exactly, it's to
goal,
market yourself, right?
my goal is to get in front of somebody and then get
Mm.
a referral. My goal is to get a referral and skip the line. I want to
Yeah.
be if I want to get the interview as fast as possible, and then
Yes.
also if you have a referral, you edge yourself. You are a little bit above somebody else because
Yes.
somebody else who comes out from nowhere and applies from just totally externally, nobody knows who they are, versus like with a referral, someone is like putting themselves out there and saying like, no, I met with, this person and they're great and I think they're great for the job.
Mm.
I think that puts like just like gives you a little bit of more of an
Mm.
edge.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, also it's great because like whenever you like leave your job and you're looking for another job, you have a foundation of a network.
Network, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, that's how I found my job at Heroku, is because I quit my job right before the
Mm.
pandemic, and I was looking for a whole year. Also, I moved and there was a lot of other stuff, but for a long time I was looking for a job, and I found my job at Heroku because of my boot camp network. I saw that someone posted and said like, hey, Heroku is hiring. Let me know if you're interested. And I had already built that relationship with that person because I had met with her before. And so I reached out to her and I got in faster.
Okay, that's really nice. Thank you so much for this.
Thanks for your question.
Uh, 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 Hi, Nora. I have a question about the portfolio website or portfolio project in general. Like how many I should put on the portfolio project?
I didn't hear the last
How
part.
many projects I should put on the portfolio? Like,
it doesn't have to be that many. If you have 2, maybe even 1, but 2 I feel like is the best. 2 really, really nice projects. They have nice pictures. It feels like I get a general idea of what it does. I also like if you just put as much information as you can for someone to understand what it does and what technology it uses, then that's beautiful and amazing, and I feel like is enough. If you add
so
more,
basically,
that's even better.
Okay, I have 5 or more, and like basically we have like Python and SQL or like so many tools. So what يعني how many for each one? For Python, how many? For SQL, how many projects?
There's really, there's no set number. I think like if they all are really descriptive, I would put all of them there, and you could even organize them by language, I guess. But I think the main thing is, so one, having lots of projects is good for marketing yourself, but also it's really good for the interview. So like I failed one of my first interviews because my school project, it had nothing to do with building like using an API. Like I just didn't use an API. I just built like my own database and just pulled data from my data that I had, my fake data. So anyway, the first interview I had was like, okay, make a call to an API. And I was like, I have no idea. And so the interviewer was so nice and he walked me through it. And then even after the interview was over, like I finished it and I sent it to him and I was like, hey, I finally learned how to do it using Python. So like, yeah, and I would have learned that if I like had just made more projects. So yeah, just like that's the whole goal. The goal is for you to learn and then market yourself.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thanks for asking. And also like, yeah, if you think of more questions, like feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn actually, and I can answer them. Okay. So Heroku, this company I work at, but I also think it's pretty cool way for early developers to like learn and play around with app deployment and like data analytics in like a safe way. And so that's why I just wanted to go ahead and like show you a little bit of Heroku. And you might, who knows, maybe in your first job, they might use Heroku. But yeah, so just wanted to talk about it, but basically it's a way of managing your apps. Also, I wanted to make sure that you knew about, I'm also gonna like put these links in the chat too, because there's this really cool thing that GitHub does. It's a student developer pack that maybe you already know about. But if you're a student, you can qualify to get like free stuff. And then also Heroku partners with GitHub so that you can get free Heroku. So I will show you that. So nope, that's not it. It's this. Oh, first this is the developer pack, which is cool because then you can have access to like Copilot and some other neat GitHub things. But then also for Heroku, you get some money so that you can like play around. You can host your portfolio website. You can host a giant database and you could run queries on it. Lots of different things that you could do with Heroku, but you can also like look at the logs that your app is doing. You can look at a whole bunch of different metrics to understand like the infrastructure of hosting an app, because it's not just coding, you know, like I feel like a lot of it is also like all the nitty gritty things that you have to do to make sure that your app is stable and available. So that's, oh, also I wanted to show you a cool thing because I know that y'all are studying, some of y'all are studying data analytics. Heroku also has fun data clips that you can like share with people. It's almost like a Jupyter notebook, but way more powerful because you can actually host an entire Postgres database and then query from it and then share that query. So just fun things like that. Also, Heroku has a whole ecosystem of add-ons. And so if you're like curious about learning like Mongo or Redis, you know, you can like spin up, they're called dynos, but they're actually like Linux containers. And like, that's kind of like Docker, if you've heard of Docker. So it's basically some computing power to run things like this. So these are just some of the things that you can like play around with. And then also, if you have trouble with GitHub, please let me know, because we have a direct connection to them. We have a contact. So like if you don't get qualified, I will follow up for you on my end. Okay. What was oh, right. Okay. And then the other fun thing I wanted to show you is just like, oh wait, where is it? Here. Is like things you can do with Heroku. So there's this really fun video that kind of gives you a general idea of like how you would host your app on Heroku. So I was just going to play that a little bit. It's just a short video, but also I have to share with sound. Oh, sorry, I don't use Zoom. It's asking me to permissions.
We can't hear you, Nura.
All right, so now, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't hear you. I saw you are speaking. Now it's good. Now we can hear you. Yes, yes.
Oh, it's so weird. Yeah, I don't use Zoom a lot, and so I also just got a new computer, and so it just asked me to give it permission, so I had to put in my password for audio sharing. So, okay. So let me know if you can
This
hear
Heroku
this.
showcase demonstrates 3 deployment
Did you hear that?
Yeah, we
Okay,
can.
great. Cool.
methods, different ways of getting your app from a code base into a running application on Heroku. Heroku's longest supported deployment method uses Git. Here, we clone an example Node.js application, giving us a local Git repository. When we run Heroku create, an empty app is created on Heroku. Because we ran the command from inside the Git repository, it also created a Git remote called Heroku. We can now use Git to push our code to the Heroku remote with git push Heroku master. And here's our deployed app. Deploying changes is just a matter of committing the changes to your repo and then performing another git push. Here, we're just going to make a change to the title, commit the changes, and perform another git push in order to deploy. Now, when we open our app, we'll see the change. If you link your GitHub account to Heroku, you can deploy code to Heroku directly from GitHub. You can also configure automatic deployments for whenever new code is pushed to a specific branch. You configure GitHub deployments from the Deploy tab. After authorizing a connection with GitHub, just search for the repo that you want to associate with the app and connect the two. Now you can manually deploy a branch of the app directly from GitHub. After a little while, you'll get a link to your deployed app. And now it's running. You can also set up automatic deploys so that any changes to a branch you specify are automatically deployed, or only when CI passes. Let's change the banner title in the app's repo directly on GitHub. Of course, you can do this locally and push the changes up to GitHub to accomplish the same thing. After committing the change, Heroku will pick up the code and deploy your app again. Let's switch back to the app and hit refresh. There we go. The simplest deployment.
Okay. So that just gave you like a general idea of what Heroku looks like, how you can like deploy things, your app with Heroku, how you make changes. But basically Heroku, the whole idea is to make your life simpler, and that you're able to work faster, and then also like I don't know, like host your app and or a prototype or a database in a really easy, straightforward way, and you don't get bogged down with having to figure out all the other infrastructure stuff. And it seems I like it, and it's user friendly, and I just wanted to share that because I work on it every day and it's nice and cool and it's purple. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's the end pretty much of my talk. I hope that you walk away feeling like you learned things. But yeah, and if you have any more questions, I'm around for the next, few more minutes. Shukran jazilan.
I have a question. If we have a Tableau project, for example, is it like, what's the right way to do? Should we deploy it on the Tableau server or Heroku? What's the best way to do?
That's a great question, especially because Tableau is also owned by Salesforce, and I should know this. I don't know a lot about how Tableau works. Like, What type of, is it like, what kind of, can you describe like what is the project?
Like
Like,
I have a dashboard. I build it in Tableau. So there is a feature in Tableau. You can build it on the Tableau server, but you have to pay for it. But is it good way to upload to maybe upload it on GitHub as a project, then deploy it on Heroku, or just keep it? So because if you upload it on a Tableau server, anyone can access through the link. It's same with Heroku.
yeah, I mean, like if it's code and it's an app, you can host it on
Okay.
Heroku.
Uh, no, it's not a code.
It's
Like
not code.
no, the extension of file will be TPL something. It's related to Tableau app.
I'm Googling, but I don't think so. I'm gonna, yeah, but you know, I can get back to you and find out because that's a really interesting uh question, and I bet they have some kind of connection. Yeah, already I'm seeing there's like a